It's 5:45 p.m., which means it's time for BCTV's weekly media roundup, 5:45 Live. I'm tonight's host, Roland Boyden. I'll take you through a Friday edition where we'll break down all the weekend's upcoming events. We'll also talk about the road closing on Green Street, a retaining wall over Harmony parking lot, and some of the issues there. We'll talk about Leland and Gray's latest move for a new accreditation system and much more. It's all on the way in the next 15 minutes, so stick with us right here on 5:45 Live. Welcome back to this September 12th, 2014 edition of 5:45 Live. A look at some of the flags that half-mast around town yesterday, commemorating another September 11th come and gone since the attacks now back in 2001. All right, time to launch into the headlines. As promised, we'll start on Green Street. For that, into the newsroom we go, aka my close-up camera, where structural issues discovered in the retaining wall responsible for suspending the Green Street extension roadway above Harmony parking lot has forced officials in town to close off Green Street just before the back entrance to Shriners Hall. This is an area BCTV volunteer James Van Slaben was out and about gathering footage of this past week. This is footage we get to show you right now. Next up, continuing in the headlines, this morning marked the second round of the experimental public outreach tactic known as Coffee with a Cop, an informal public forum hosted this morning at the Works Bagel House in downtown Brattleboro, as area business owners and concerned citizens were invited to join officers and detectives from Brat PD over a mug of coffee to voice their concerns regarding safety, the law, and the role they'd like to see local police playing in all that. All right, time to move on in the stories now. We promised to look at what's going on at the Austin School. For that, we're going to launch into our latest feature, the Commons News Report. Check in with Brattleboro's weekly independent media source and newspaper, The Commons, which hits newsstands for free each and every Wednesday. You can pick one up at a newsstand around town or get your own subscription, which, if you so choose, can pay for and help keep this paper afloat. We're going to go now into the Commons News split screen here to take a look at the latest on the Austin School and the closing there, which was reported earlier, but with many new details revealed in a new article from Olga Peters released in this week's Commons. We're going to get you some more details as that article cites this here month of September 2014 as the last month of operation for the more than century-old school. Now, according to this article, they'll have some direct impact on 40 employees and the more than 600 children and adults who currently receive services through the school, with the Board of Trustees Chairman Thomas Sonborn telling Olga that, quote, "The Board of Trustees is very saddened by all of this. We can't keep up with the cost of the land and buildings." Now, the Vermont Center for Deaf and Hard of Hearing does plan to continue with much of their local programming through partnerships with other area organizations, though no more specific details on that front have been released yet. Just part of our Commons News Report, you can follow along by doing what I'm doing right here on the split screen and head to commonsnews.org or pick up a paper around town. All right, time to move on here in the stories. Back into the newsroom we go. As one-time UN ambassador turned Windham County State Senator Peter Galbraith may have retired his Senate license plate after just 2 years in office, but he's made a return to the private sector, and that hasn't led him to shy away from the limelight, as he joined Free Speech TV personality Amy Goodman this week on her program Democracy Now! To break down what he sees as the president's options for reintroducing a U.S. presence in Iraq sans troops.
The president's talking about supporting local forces, and that, in theory, could be effective in the Sunni areas, but it's going to be hard to get them set up, given that ISIS is there.
Catch Democracy Now! Weekdays on BCTV Channel 8 with a full schedule, so you can catch all the latest all at brattleboro.tv.org. All right, now on to another free speech TV staple viewers may be familiar with, the Thom Hartmann program, which has a feature dubbed Brunch with Bernie, a chance for Vermont's independent senator to speak his mind on the week's issues in front of a TV audience, and one posted now on Bernie's own official YouTube channel. Each week as well, which gives us a chance to show it here in 545 Live, as this time Bernie implored Hartmann's viewers not to let elected officials in Washington use issues abroad to distract from more domestic concerns, like what Sanders has dubbed the collapse of the middle class.
It is so easy to take our focus off of the problems facing working families because, frankly, here in Washington, D.C., you have so many folks who are elected who really take their orders from the billionaire class, from their campaign contributors, and really don't have much allegiance to the working families of this country. It's very easy to forget those issues. Oh my goodness, we have a crisis in the Middle East again, and we got to prepare for war and all that stuff.
You can see more from that Brunch with Bernie clip. Go to youtube.com/Senator Sanders, Bernie's official YouTube channel. Keep up with things there. All right, back into the headlines we go. When members of the Leland and Gray School Board administration opted out of a deal with the Independent Higher Education Review Group, the New England Association of Secondary Schools and Colleges, or NEASC as they're known, that was last year, they were looking for a way around the $20,000 price tag that the association's annual seal of approval comes with, but what they found was something altogether different, with the move helping to pioneer a whole new way for schools to promote their accreditation under the heading of the newly christened Collaborative Peer Review Project, an undertaking with other Vermont schools to help back the value of their academics for students looking to apply to top-tier colleges without costing local taxpayers the same exorbitant rates.
All our scores went up. So that's a positive reflection for us, but makes our job harder because I guess some weaker students have come in. I just wanted to point those out because that was the most remarkable.
Part of the most recent Leland and Gray School Board meeting, which you can find thanks to the hard work of BCTV field producer Rich Melanson. It's got its own series meeting landing page just by clicking that big green watch button, all at brattleboro.tv.org. You can also catch all those municipal meetings, including that Leland and Gray meeting, 2 clicks up the dial on our Government and Education sister channel, Channel 10. Find a complete schedule for that channel and this here Channel 8 as well, all at brattleboro.tv.org. All right. Now we're going to move on here. Speaking of Channel 10, we're getting set for the return of BUHS TV. That's right, this coming Monday, you can see members of the BUHS TV news crew, the high school's morning news advisory broadcast team, as they get set for a new season, breaking down advisory news, catching up with school sports, weather, academic listings, and much more. They pack it all into a 15-minute broadcast Monday, Wednesday, Friday live on BCTV Channel 10 with a replay that same evening, 6 p.m. right here on BCTV Channel 8.
Good morning, BUHS and Brattleboro.
We've had a great use of BCTV. Parents love to watch it during the day, but we also host a number of international students that come to our classes, and they're able to share BCTV live on the web with their families back home. So it's been a really great partnership.
Thursday, high of 40, low of 24.
62% humidity, winds at 2 miles per hour.
All right, time to move into our calendar. This is all sponsored by the Brattleboro Savings and Loan, as their generous support helps fund a look at area events each week, part of this here 545 Live broadcast, as we start by taking a look at the Brattleboro Walk-In Clinic's annual Walk, Run, and Roll, their 5K Walk, Run, and Roll event. That includes a 5K walk or run, a kids fun run, and a 35-mile cycling event. It's the clinic's major fundraiser event each year, and it helps fundraise for much of their annual budget. So they consider it to be extremely important to their operations. They're hoping folks will go out and get involved. It's all tomorrow. There's a 7 a.m. call for registration behind the Dunham Building at BMH, and then the proceedings go out from there. Again, 7 a.m. Behind the Dunham Building at BMH. Then Sunday, you can head down to the Retreat campus at 1 Anna Marsh Lane for a 1 p.m. registration time for the annual Walk to End Alzheimer's. We've got more now with a clip. Let's take a look. Well, that does it for another edition of 545 Live. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week right here on BCTV Comcast Channel 8 for another 15-minute broadcast, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time. But in the meantime, thanks for watching.
My friends, patriots, lovers of democracy, truth,